Hey guys, Ozzy back. Quick warning, spoilers are ahead. I just got done watching The Flash season finale for season 7. Season 7 was a pretty darn good season. They kind of got back a little bit to what we've been missing with The Flash, with more action, and the storylines were pretty good this year. It kind of took a little bit getting back into it with the COVID and everything, but once they really got into the season, it really took off well. It was kind of hard to figure out what was going on at first with the different forces, and then how that was going to tie in into the overarching story of the season and who the big bad was going to be this season and what was going to happen with the entire season. Obviously, being that the season finale just happened, that probably indicates there will be no crossover this season, since there wasn't one. I'm assuming that means that this year there is going to be no Arrowverse crossover. Last year was Crisis, so I'm assuming that that was the end of the crossover events. What with Arrow being gone, I believe that Black Lightning is over with, and I know Supergirl is on its last season, I think. And next season may be the last season for Flash, so we might not see another major crossover like we have in the past. We'll have to keep an eye out and see. So anyways, Flash this year, the big bad, the major thing that was going on, like I said, at first was hard to tell because they started with these different forces. There's the Speed Force, obviously, which we've been seeing since the beginning of the Flash, or we've known about since the beginning of the Flash. This season, we got introduced to the Strength Force, which was Fuerza. We got introduced to Dion in the Still Force, and then the Sage Force, which was more of a mental thing. The Still Force having to do with speed, and obviously the Strength Force doing with physicality. The Still Force and the Speed Force are kind of the same, but also two extreme ends of the same spectrum. And I thought that that was going to be the major overarching storyline, is these forces and how they were coming together, but they wrapped that up pretty quickly and then brought in Godspeed. Now, Godspeed's been here and there in Flash for a long time. On the show, I should say. He has popped in and out quite often. Most notably, he was the bad guy that Nora XS was fighting in the future during her time. In this instance, we get to see something a little bit different because we have multiple Godspeeds, Godspeed clones fighting each other like a civil war. So it was really a cool visual to see that. And to finally have it go from that modem speak that we were so used to hearing from the Godspeed to actually having a voice and actually getting to see August Hart be Godspeed and actually have an actual actor playing him and actually being able to see that was really nice. As I said, there are spoilers in here. So, what happened? Well, there has been this Godspeed civil war going on. Obviously, they came from the future back to the past to try to eliminate Barry, to try to gain his speed to try to make themselves the fastest thing alive. Barry attempts to, at one point, go to the future to see if Nora is okay and is blocked by these Godspeeds. After which, Nora and Impulse, who apparently is Barry's son in this particular iteration. Typically, if you're a comic book person, you know that Impulse is usually Barry's son, or Barry's grandson, Bart Allen. They did it a little bit different with this one, having him his son, and Nora his daughter, but it's a different version of Nora. We hadn't met this version of Nora. So Barry, Nora, Bart, and Iris are all together. With, of course, Team Flash and needing to take on Godspeed and finish him off and stop him from destroying the future and taking Flash's powers and everything. We get to see Jay Garrick again. He makes a comeback. Wesley Shipp, John Wesley Shipp, who plays him, he was the Flash on the 90s version of the Flash and has come back as Jay Garrick's Flash in the current show, which I really like because I liked him back when I used to watch the 90s show when I was younger, and I like that he's now a part of Team Flash, albeit an adjunct add-on. So the fight was not going good with with Godspeed. Barry was losing, so he knew what he needed to do was get more help. He had Nora and Bart, but Bart got hurt and was therefore in the hospital and unable to help Barry in the fight. Barry chose to go to Big Nora, which is the Speed Force herself, for help to try to fix the issues that were going on. They were looking
when it's your turn
to obviously get rid of Godspeed and help Bart. They figured by bringing Nora in, by bringing the Speed Force in, they could do both. When the Speed Force got there, she imbued them with some of her power and increased their speed up to and including Iris, who once again gained super speed for a time. Bart was renewed, and Barry went out to fight Godspeed. At this point, Caitlin and Cisco, who came back to help, were both out trying to keep the peace in Central City, trying to make sure that nothing happened to anyone. And Iris went with the Speed Force to try to anchor her because Barry knew they needed more help than what they had on hand. So he knew that the only way he could actually defeat August and Godspeed was to get help. So he went and he began taking on Godspeed himself and started getting his butt beat, obviously. And then out of nowhere, we get the return of the Reverse Flash. Eobard Thawne comes back. And it's Tom Cavanaugh as Eobard. It's not the other gentleman that I can't remember his name that played Eobard as well. It's the Tom Cavanaugh version. So supposed to be the one that is the Harrison Wells Eobard Thawne, where at the beginning of the series, at the beginning of The Flash, Eobard Thawne was masquerading as Harrison Wells and was teaching the Flash how to use his powers and everything, helping him gain his speed so that he could steal it from him. Well, now we have this Thawne who has been gone for quite some time because of being having his ancestor killed and all of that, has now once again returned, and I think is going to be our big bad for next season. Especially if next season is going to be the final season. I think Eobard is definitely going to be our big bad. It's going to be the culmination of pretty much everything that the series has been going for, which is beginning the series with Reverse Flash as Flash's mentor without Flash knowing, and now coming fully circled back to the Flash and Eobard's actual fight, and we may actually see this be the part where Barry goes back to try to save his mother. We might actually get to see where the series began from a different perspective this time. Obviously, we've gone back to that pivotal point quite a few times throughout the series, but it would be nice to go back and visit one last time in the series, if that is the final season, as a to see it from the adult Barry and Eobard perspective as the actual fight that they're going in, not where Flash is trying to stop him and change things, and where they have to keep making adjustments and things like that. Just to see the actual fight that led to Eobard Thawne going back and thinking that the best plan was to kill Nora Allen, and why. That would be a very good way to close the series out, in my opinion. It would be fully cyclical. We would see that end game coming into play, and it would be the beginning of the series at the same time, because that's how we saw the series begin. So I think it would be a nice overall tie-in and a way to end the series. Obviously, now Barry has the help of Eobard, and the two of them are taking on Godspeed. Godspeed decides to use his lightning like a sword, so basically makes a lightsaber. And Eobard and Flash, Reverse Flash and Flash, copy it, and they begin fighting Godspeed in this lightning sword clash. The three of them fighting very hard. Visual effects were beautiful. Godspeed's white lightning, the Flash's yellow, and Reverse Flash's red lightning, all on the screen together, all going really good visuals. Reverse Flash in his dark kind of yellow black suit, Godspeed in that bright white with gold, and then Flash with the red, gold, and white. Definitely very visually appealing. The fight itself was very good choreographed. We start seeing Godspeed with one saber taking on Barry, and Thawne kind of just standing there for a moment, not really doing much, and then jumping into the fight, and Godspeed automatically producing a second saber to be able to fight off both of them at the same time. Now at this point, Godspeed had extra speed because he had absorbed all his clones and now got an organic speed force as opposed to his artificial speed that he had before. So he was moving even faster. That's why Barry had requested the help of Thawne. Thawne gets a little bit knocked away, and Barry and Godspeed are fighting, and then just as Godspeed has Barry down and thinking that he's won, Thawne comes out of nowhere and just stabs Godspeed right through the chest and almost kills him. And of course, at that point, he decides to turn on Flash and try to take him on, but Flash had been hiding a secret. He'd been hiding his true speed. He's gotten a boost. He's faster now. He's faster even than Thawne. And he easily throws Thawne aside like he's nothing. And Thawne promises him that he's going to come back, that this is going to be the end of their fight. And then promptly takes off because Barry's gotten faster and he hasn't, and he needs to be able to take Barry on. And the surprise thing that I found this year is typically when the seasons end, in the past, there's been a big cliffhanger, there's been a big unanswered question. There's been a catastrophe looming. This one, for whatever reason, and I really wish I knew at this point, but for whatever reason, it closed itself off completely. Yeah, Thawne got away, but he could just as easily never come back. It's almost like they weren't sure whether it was going to make another season or not when they closed out season 7 here. Because the way they closed it was by having Iris and Barry get remarried. Cisco was there. Frost and Caitlin were there. Joe and Cecile were talking about getting married. Jay Garrick is there. Bart and Nora are there. So the whole, basically, what's currently available on the show, the whole family was there. But there was no major, like, cliffhanger ending like I'm used to. Usually, like last season, we found Iris trapped in the mirror universe. We didn't know if Barry was going to be able to get her back. And that's how our season ended. This one ends on a very upbeat and happy note, which is good, yes, but in a way has me questioning what's going to happen, what's next for Team Flash. Is this the end of the Arrowverse? We've seen Arrow end. It looks like Supergirl is ending. I believe Black Lightning has ended. I kind of lost touch with that show a little bit. Stargirl has not really been part of it. Swamp Thing, I don't know if that's going to make it back. Legends is pretty much a thing all on its own. Very occasionally it'll reach back and touch stuff from other Arrowverse things, but lately it's been totally all off on its own. So I don't know. This may be the end of the Arrowverse. Guys, let me know what you think down in the comments. Do you think the Arrowverse is going to go on, or do you think this is the end of it? Have we seen the last of these shows? Will Flash be back for one more season? If it does come back, what plot points are you looking to see put through? Leave me some messages down below, and if you haven't already, go down and click that like button. Some thumbs up, looks just like that. Click on that. And if you're not already a subscriber, click on that subscribe icon. If you're already a subscriber, welcome back. And if you did both of those things, go down to the bottom and find that bell icon. That's the notification icon. Click on that so you get notified anytime I upload new content. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video where we talked about the Flash and the fate, potentially, of the Arrowverse. I hope you guys had a wonderful day, and I hope you keep enjoying it. I'll talk to you later. Ozzy out. Bye.